Alright, so this is a song I wrote about 30 years ago. I wrote a song in 1992, and it's a song called The Legend of Bonwoody McSquire, or The Ballad of Bonwoody McSquire, or just Bonwoody McSquire. But it's a song originally. I was in high school, starting to songwrite, and I was like, I was always trying to come up with ideas because I didn't want to be like copying people or like doing what other people were doing. So I was like trying to come up with original ideas, I tend to come up with a lot of original ideas because I'm an original kind of fellow. So, but this idea, I think there was kind of a catalyst. I mean, I was like thinking, I want to write a song about a made up character, a made up character, maybe like folk legend. Oh, yeah, like a folk legend, like a folk character. It's like Paul Bunyan, Johnny Appleseed, or what's the other fellow? Like John Henry. John Henry Fonda, yeah. So yeah, that kind of character, and I think I got the original idea from. Yeah, I noticed like McCartney writes a lot of characters that he makes up. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll do that. You may have some characters. I don't know, right? Not really. A little bit. You may have some characters. I think a lot of these characters are based on real people, so I don't know. But I thought it was just making up characters. So I thought I want to try that. Just write up a character from legend, and then so I thought, I don't know why I came up with his name, but Bonewoody McSquire. I thought Bonewoody McSquire. Sounds like interesting, man. And so I wrote the words in my classes in high school because I wrote a lot of. Instead of doing my work, I was writing, lyrics. I would tend to write the lyrics in class because I was bored, and then I go home after school to my onto the guitar, and then put some chords on it. Usually I have a melody in my head, and I'm writing it usually, but then I kind of tweak it up a little bit, with the guitar, not with the chords. And so yeah, so I had the song, and then I like my bandmate Brennan had just I was like, Brennan, I got the song. I gotta come over to your house. Let's record it. Let's put it on 4 track. It's a weird song, but let's. And so of course, every time I heard a song, I would come over to his house, play it for him first. So it's kind of like, I was like, singing, thinking, my friend, yeah. Would you leave it out for me in the end? If something happened to me, would you cry? So I would play it for him, and he'd be like, okay, all right. He didn't really have too much, expression. He was really good. He was like, yeah, that's great. That's good. That's just, actually during the recording, he would kind of notice if it was good or not. He was kind of like, okay, let's go and record. So we had a setup in his basement. We had a setup where we would rehearse. Our band would rehearse. But we also had a setup for our recording. So we had drums down there, real drums and keyboard, and I had my bass. So that was more of a bass player. And so I had my bass. So I would use his acoustic guitar. And so we got downstairs and did get it going. So first track would be so usually I would have the song worked out usually by the time I get to his house, so we didn't have to waste all this time and it'd be written. But sometimes I wouldn't have an intro, so I remember when we did it and I was like, yeah, we should have an intro maybe. Yeah, let's come up with so you came up with that. And I didn't know that was the opening drum fill for Surrender by Cheap Trick because I wasn't really into Cheap Trick by then. I get into Cheap Trick until after high school, so so I didn't know, so I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I was like, do 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 do, yeah, taking my friend. So I'd be like, yeah, taking my friend. Would you leave it out for me? So usually I'd be sitting there, usually I had my lyric sheet and the chords. And the drums would be there. He'd be there without the drums. He'd be controlling the machine because he knew how to use that for. He'd set it up. He'd be like the engineer. He's good at that. I don't really good at all that electronic stuff. And he's really good at that stuff. So he could set it up in the mics. And he's a good drummer. So he could, so he could kind of follow along. So we'd do a few runs with it, and he'd kind of feel, I'd kind of tell him how I want the rhythm to be, or if I wanted it to stop in, I'd put a fill there, and that's kind of to it. But he would kind of do his own thing. Most of what as most drummers do, and I've worked with, or anybody who probably worked with, they do what they do, they do, they, they feel it. If you feel a good drum, you don't have to tell them what to do. You just know. But you kind of the rhythm was kind of created on the guitar, and it was like yeah, and then it's kind of, and then yeah. So that was so I kind of. So he would do this drumming, we had the headphones on, play the first track, I would kind of sing it while I'm playing it, so he knows where we are. So we had the mic, the acoustic, and he liked the drums, and so we kind of, and so I would sing it while we're doing the first track, I'd be like, so we would know when we were going to play, so I'd be like, all right, let's go, turn on the record, and he goes, yeah, thank you, my friend. I was like kind of doing. I was kind of looking like, do something here. He don't know. He just kind of knew what I was thinking. That's part of having a good band. What I'm saying? You just look at them and they just we just know. He's a very intelligent guy. So it's good when you work with a guy who's talented and intelligent. So with any kind of band, that's just so great. That's why. That's when the band is really good. You guys just know when the band is good. Everybody just know they do. To tell them to do something good because they're good, Or he's playing keyboard on something, and let's play a keyboard. You don't have to tell him to do, he just does it. And eventually, occasionally, okay, maybe just do like this, and that's about it. So that's how I came up with the song. This is like 30 years ago. That's usually how we record most of the songs. I wrote a lot of songs in high school. Face Value, Holly. Your company, so it's like I would write during the week, school, after school I would write, kind of work things out. And by that Saturday I'd go over to his house on Saturdays morning and we would record these songs, So on this 4-track in the school, we had real drums. He had like all this other percussion on. He had conga drums, bongos, rockers. We put it on the songs. It was great. I don't know, real percussion. It's cool, real stuff. So we did the song. It was one of the songs, and then we did this little demo tape thing because everybody was doing it. All our band friends were doing it. Where you record a few songs and you put on a little demo thing and then you sell it, and so you got a demonstration of what you thought the band is. So we thought, let's do our own, and we did we did like a whole thing, like what 12 songs, and this was one of the songs that we put on there with our 4-track. We did this. And then I taught him to write songs, so he wrote songs, because I just want to be the only songwriter. And so, I wrote this song for it, and then we put that on there, and I wrote a song called Cougar, which we put on there, Holly, we put on there, a song called We, I put on there, it's We Believe. I wrote a song called, what else did we put on there that I wrote? Holly, We Believe, Draganu. This little instrumental thing called Insanity. We put it on that I wrote. And I played all the instruments on. What else? Yeah. And he wrote some songs. A song called Mama Dollar. He wrote a song called Haley Die. I think he was trying to copy me. I'm Bon with McSquire. It was like his version of Bon with McSquire. So and then he had a song called. Bicycle rider. Bicycle riders, well, somebody's end you here. Bicycle rider, that song. Then he had a song called Haley Die. Oh, the spirit of Haley dies. And then Mama was like, Mama, wanna give you $1. And he wrote a song called I Thought But you knew it all. Here we go. Yeah, and then we put it all on there, and then we sold all the tapes for like $5 each. I mean, it takes. I mean, we made a profit because it's like just to buy those tapes was like a pack of 10 was like wasn't a lot, you know, like $5 for like a pack of like 5 or 10 tapes, cassette tapes. And when we made like $5 on each of those cassettes, and we made like a lot of them. We had like 20 of them. I think. 20. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, and we sold them and friends would buy them. It was really cool.